Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Suman Garg, working as a lecturer in C department at BHS BIT Laragaga. Today, I am here to discuss the topic that is Linux commands. This is one of the topics in operating system subject. In this, various Linux commands will be discussed by me, and the various contents I will cover in this lecture are as follows. First is I will tell what is the command, how this is implemented, how this is executed. The next is what is a shell, and how the shell programming is implemented in the Linux. Shell is what? It is an intermediate between the user and the kernel, that is between the operating system. User and the operating system, shell is the mediator. It will take your command and then implement it. It will give your command to the operating system, then that operating system will execute your command. Then there are various help facilities for the commands, like about the command. Suppose you have a little bit knowledge about the command, but you want to have the complete knowledge about the command. There are various help facilities from where we can get the information about the commands. Then the redirection. Basically, our standard input and output devices are: standard input is the keyboard and mouse, standard output is the printer and monitor. Suppose we want to redirect our input or output, instead of our standard input and output devices, we want to redirect our input and output to some another devices. So we can do that with the use of redirection facility, which is available in the Linux. Then there is a pipes. Through the pipes we can string together the output of one command to the as the input to the another command. We can pipe the output of one command to the as the input to the another command. Then there are various commands like file management and viewing. Okay, how the various files file related commands and various directory related commands, I will implement all those. Then there is a file system management. Then there is a system management, how your total overall working of the system will be managed through the commands, like your shutdown, like your power off, like your password, vagera vagera. Then the job and process management, various processes have been executed in the behind the in the Linux system. How all those processes will be managed by the Linux using all these commands that I will cover. Then the network management, then the user management. Various users may be working on your system, or there may be a single user. The single user itself must know about the system, okay, who is using his system and what he is doing with his system, what kind of working, what kind of processing he is doing. So all the users, all the persons who are associated with the machine must be managed in somewhat way. All these are the topics I will discuss in my lecture today. The first one, what is a command? A command is what? So in the basic language, in the general world, what we are doing, we suppose one person is giving some order to his maid or to his servant. He will command him. A command is a program. A command is a program, is a statement, is an instruction which is given to the computer to do some task. We are giving it to the system to do some task. We want to get some task to be implemented, to be done by the computer. Then we have to give it in the form of command, that is known as a command. We have to give it in the form of instruction, in the form of statement. So a command is a program which interacts with the kernel, with the operating system. What is a kernel? It is the operating system. In the Linux based system, it is called as the kernel. A command is a program which interacts with the kernel to provide the environment and perform the function called for by the user. Whatever the user required from the machine, the functions to be performed, then the user will give the command to the kernel. Then the kernel will implement all those commands and your task, your function will be performed as per the requirement. A command can be built-in shell command. It could be a built-in command. Means built-in means that need not to be compiled. It is already built-in command. Built-in shell command can be there. An executable shell file can be there. It is also known as a shell script. or a source compiled object code file can also be there. There are various ways we can direct our computer system to do our task. These are the various ways: a built-in shell command, it could be an executable shell script, it could be a source compiled object code file, etc. The shell, what is a shell? Shell is a command line interpreter. The command we are giving it to the system, the shell is the mediator between the user and the kernel. It will interpret your command into the language required by the system. The user interacts with the kernel through the shell. The language we communicate is not known by the kernel. The shell translate our language to the language which is understood by the kernel. You can write your text scripts to be acted upon by the shell. So, shell sits between you and the operating system. It is a translator, it is a transformer, it is a mediator between you and the operating system. It will act as a command interpreter. It will interpret all your command given to the system. It will translate all your command in the language understood by the kernel and by the operating system. It reads your terminal input and translates the commands into the actions taken by the system. The shell is analogous to the command.com in DOS. In DOS, there is also an interpreter that is known as command.com. The working of shell is similar to the command.com. When you log into the system, you are given a default shell. That is, you are given a default shell. Whenever you will log into the system, you will given a default shell. When the shell start up, it reads its startup files and may set the environment variables, command search paths and command aliases, and executes any command specified in these files. It will boot up your system. It will have all the required variables, all the required paths, files, and execute all those commands specified in those files. It will make your system ready to execute your commands. The original shell was the Bourne shell known as SH. Its symbol is SH. Every Unix platform will have either the Bourne shell or a Bourne compatible shell, which one is available. The default prompt for the Bourne shell is $, or the hash sign. It could be for the root user. And then after this there is another shell, popular. It is also one of the popular shell, that is C shell. The default prompt for C shell is %sign. It is more responsive to the user interaction. In the Bourne shell, there is a little bit problem in the interaction with the user, and the C shell cover all those problems related to the user interaction. In the C shell, there is one more facility, that is command line completion. Like in Windows, we always know the autocomplete feature is there. We are writing something in the Google, we are writing something, sometimes it automatically completes. The autocomplete feature is also present in the C shell. Then there are numerous shell available from the network. Almost all of them are based either on the C shell or the Bourne shell, with the extension to provide the job control to Bourne shell, allow the inline editing of commands, page through previously executed commands, provide the command name completion and the custom prompt, etc. These are the various facility we have developers extended in the another versions of shell, right. One is there another shell, that is Cohn shell. It has been developed by the David Cohn. And the Bourne again shell, another shell is Bourne again shell. Obviously it is known as bash, and it is the extension to both the C and the Bourne shell. It is the extension to both the Bourne shell and the C shell. It combines the features of Bourne shell and C shell. It is a free software foundations. It has been given by the free software foundation GNU project. And then the next is how the shell programming. was done in the will be done in the Linux system. You can write your shell programs by creating the scripts containing a series of shell command. What is there in the problem in the command, single line command? We can write only the single line command and we can execute only the single line command over there. We cannot, if we want to write a batch of command, a group of command, we want to execute all those commands as a single batch. We cannot do that. In the shell programming, this is possible. You can write your shell program by creating the scripts containing a series of shell commands. The first line of script should start with this sign, whatever is written on the screen, which indicates to the kernel. This is just an indication to the kernel that script is directly executable. One more special thing about the script is that it is directly executable. It need not to be compiled, it need not to be linked, etc. It is directly executed by the kernel. So this hash and exclamation sign indicates to the kernel that script is directly executable. You immediately follow this with the name of the shell in which you are working. Whatever, which one is available on your system. It may be Bourne shell, it may be C shell, or it may be Cone shell, etc. Or program to execute using the full path name. So to set up a, suppose we are using the Bourne shell script, the first line would be like this. Whatever is written on the screen, you can read it. Then the first line is followed by the commands. Within the script, hash indicates a comment from that point until the end of the line. If in the starting of any line this hash sign is there, it means that line is not a command, that line is a comment. It will tell you something about the command, about the program, like we can use in the C programming also. With this hash and exclamation sign being a special case if found is the first character of the file. Like I have quoted one example over here. Okay, first we will write the starting of the script to indicate the kernel that it is a script. It is a directly executable script. Bin and bash. We are using the Bourne again shell. Then there is a two commands I have quoted over here. cd change directly to the tmp. Then I have I want to create a directory mkdir named as t, whatever I required. You also need to specify that the script is executable by setting the proper bits on the file with change mode a command. This is one of the command, change mode, chmod, change mode. For every file, for every script, there are three permissions: read, write and execute. For some of the users, we want only them to read the file. For some of the users, we want them to execute the file. For some of the user, we want 3 permission, 2 permission, whatever. And we can change all those permissions with this command change mode, chmod plus x. It means, I will explain this command only. Chmod change mode plus x give execute permission on this file shell script. If we there are 3 kinds of users. First is the owner. First is owner, the second is the user, third is the user, owner and others, right? Group and others. There are 3 kinds of users. First is the owner, who owned the file, who owned the shell script. Second is the group. If there are number of systems networked, then there are various users acting upon the shell script for that particular file. Then there is a group of users who is using that file. And the last is others, that those are out of the network, to whom we want to give the permission, whom we want to waive off the permissions. That is in our hand, in the owner's hand, who developed the shell script, who developed the file, in only that person's hands, to whom we want to permission, to whom we want to waive off the permission. Plus x means we want to give the execute facility on this shell script file to all the users. I have not mentioned here users. It means all the 3 users are involved over here. Then the command structure. What is the command structure? The first I will write the command. Then there are number of options. With the suppose there is a cat command. You want to create a file, you want to display a file, you want to with the arguments. Arguments means the number of operands required by the command will be, I have to give it in the command. Multiple commands will be separated by the semicolons and can be executed one after the another. Then there are help facilities for commands. Suppose sometimes we don't know the proper syntax of the command. We only know there is a command like cat, there is a command like cd. How I can use this command? So there are various help facilities. The primary facilities are there to understand the working of command and possible options. We can use the manual for the command as man, then we will write the command man cd, man cat, right? Then this is the one of the help facility. Second is using the GNU info system. Info, we will write the info, then the command name, about which command you want to get the information. Listing a description of a program, like what is command, what is this, then uske baad command ka naam, right? Then many tools have a long style option, that is help. If you want to the complete information about the command, about the tool, then we can write help. We can use the help facility. That is, the output uses information about the tool, including the options, including the argument the tool takes. Who am I? Then hyphen, two hyphens are there, then help. These are the primary facilities. These are the primary sources from where we can get the information. The secondary sources, the maybe the books, maybe the internet, etc. Then there is a redirection. What is redirection? The basic standard input and output devices, or the where the standard input will be we can take from, and where the standard output we can direct, right? The by default the output device is monitor. By default the input devices are keyboard and mouse वगैरह वगैरह, right? Then we can redirect this our standard input, output and standard errors to some another files, to some another devices also. The two ways we can redirect, that is the input redirection and the output redirection. Input redirection means the, if I am writing the WC, means word count. This command will count the number of bytes, number of words and number of lines in any file. If we are not giving the this file name, it will take from by default it will take from the whatever you will write from the keyboard. If I write it like this, I have written on the screen WC word count, this is the input redirection symbol, test is a file name. Suppose what it indicates, we have redirected the input from the file name test. It will count the number of words, number of bytes and number of lines in this file test. The second way to redirect is we can redirect the output also. Output redirection as, suppose ls. ls is what? To display the list of files and directories available in your at your proper you can say root, at your in your particular current directory, etc. ठीक है जी. तो where this output, where this list of directory is to be displayed, by default this will be standard output device, but we can redirect this the output of this ls command to the directory.out file. We can do this. We can redirect the output of this ls command to the file directory.out. This is known as redirection. Next is pipe. This is a very important early development in the Unix was invention of pipes, a way to pass the output of one tool to the input of another. Suppose we want the output of one command to pass to string to the another file, to the another command, to the another tool as its input. Suppose for example, I have used here who. I have used here who by combining and the WC, two commands are there. Who will tell who command will tell okay, who is the current user who is signed in, who is logged in this system, and WC again this will tell you the number of bytes, number of words and number of lines in your file. By combining these two tools, giving the WC command the output of who, you can build a new command to list the number of users currently on your system. We are giving the output of who command to the WC command as input. This is known as pipes. Then the various commands, Linux file system, file management system and viewing. how the various file related and how the various directory related commands will be are implemented in the Linux. So basically in the file structure of Linux, what is a file? A file is considered as a chunk of information, a piece of information that is found on your hard drive. Every file must have a unique identity because there are number of files. If they are not unique, how can we identify all those files? Every file must have its unique name, unique type of file, unique date of creation of file, date, time and वगैरह modification etc. right. Then common types of files which are available in the Linux system. The user data can be there in the form of files. System date is also one of the files, and executable files are there. First is file and directory management. First command is cd, change directory. Change the current directory. Suppose we are working on the root directory, we want to change it to our home directory. There are various kinds of directory. One is parent directory, then the subdirectory or the child directory. Then another is root directory, which is the ultimate parent of all the directories. Another all other directories are considered to be as a subdirectory, but root directory is the ultimate parent directory. Parent directory means which is the parent of one or more directory, like main folder is there, then the subfolders are there, right. Change cd means change the current directory where we want to change our directory. This command will take us there. With no argument, cd changes to the user's home directory. If we are not giving we are writing simply cd, we are not telling the shell okay, where we want to go, where we want to change our directory, then it will take us to the home directory, user's home directory. Every user has a home directory, right. Change mode, chmod, change the file permissions. Every file has 3 permissions: read, write and execute. So we can change the file permissions according to our application, according to our requirement. Suppose chmod 751 my file is the name of file. 7 means all the 3 permissions. Read has the weight 4, write has the weight 2 and execute has the weight 1. 4, 2, 1 means total 7. If any user, any group or any other person is given 7 weight, it means he or she has all the permissions with that related file. 7, 5 and others. Add read permission for the group and change the file permission to read, write and execute for owner, read and execute for group and execute for others. It means 7 means read, write and execute. 5 means read and execute. 1 means only execute. First permission is related to the owner of the file. Second is we are giving for the group, the number of related person, associated person with that system, and last is for others which are out of the network. For example, change mode group and others with +R means read facility for my file. Add the read permission for the group and others. Character means U means user, G means group and O means other. Plus means add permission, minus means remove permission. R read, W stands for write and X stands for execute. Change mode +S my file. Set user ID bit on the file which allow the program to run with user or group privilege or the other of the file. These are the other 3 such special permissions within the Linux. First is set user ID. Set user ID, it used only for the application. This permission indicates that the application is to run as the owner of the file and not as the user executing the application. It is indicated by the character S in place of the X in the owners category. If the owner of the file does not have the execute permission, then the S will be capitalized to reflect this effect. Then the second is set group ID. G stand for group. It is also used primarily for the applications. This permission will indicate that the application is to run as the group owning the file. The number of person who are owned this file, only those can run this application, not as the group of the user executing the application. The set group ID permission is indicated by the character S, again S in the place of X in the group category. If the group owner of the file or directory doesn't have execute permission, this will be capitalized to reflect this effect. The last is sticky bit. It is used primarily on directories This bit dictates that a file is created in the directory can be removed only by the user who has created this file or directory. It is indicated by the character T in place of the X in everyone category. If the everyone category doesn't have execute permissions, then the T will be capitalized to reflect this fact, right. Then the another command which is change owner, CHNOWN, this is change owner. We can change the ownership of a file from one owner to another owner. Change owner to owner 1 for this file name. Next is change group. We can change the group of a file to another group. Change group to group 1 for this file name. CP, copy a file from one location to another. With the copy option, there is a condition. The original data will be in the will be standing over there where it was originally, but it will be copied also from that file and location to another location. Copy a file from one location to another location. The command is used as follows: CP, copy file 1, file 2. It means the copy the contents of file 1 to file 2. File 2, if file 2 is not existing already, it will be created in the new way. The new file will be created as file 2. CP-R, this is the number of options I have told in the command structure. With the command we can use the option CP-R dir directory 1 to directory 2. Suppose sometimes we want to copy the contents of directory 1 to directory 2. Then all the files and folders from the directory 1 will be copied to the directory 2 with this option -R we can use with the CP command. Then MD5 sum, it will print the MD5 checksum errors. Then the ls will list the contents of a directory. It will list the contents of a directory in which you are presently working. In which present directory you are working, it will list all the contents of that directory. If you want to display some another directory, then you have to give it the name. You have to mention the name of that directory about which you want to list the contents of. Then there are various options. ls single you can use, ls-l, ls-al, ls-ld, ls-r and ls-ad. This is with space, sorry, this is with space, hyphen से पहले एक space आएगा. For hidden file list, sometimes we create hidden files in our file structure. For the hidden file display, we have to use this option, specially ls with -ad. The number of files will be displayed in this manner. What is the name of file, what are the various permissions for the user, group and others, and what is the date and time of that creation of that file of that particular directory. mkdir, make a directory. We want to create a new directory. For that this command is used. mkdir, we have to mention the name of directory we want to give it. Then mkdir -p, this is the option. If we want to create a directory starting from www, then www के अंदर cache के अंदर var के अंदर log. We want to create a list of directory with the parent directory will be www, all the child directories within that. With the option -p we can do that. Then the mv command, move or rename a file or directory. We can move a file from one location to another location. We can rename a file. Then mv source to destination. mv the file name from source to destination. Then the find files, find start directory -name, file name, print, means find start directory. कहाँ ढूंढना है आपको, in which directory you want to search out. Then the search for readme is the file name. Search for readme file name starting at home से start करना है, and output the full path. Print means output the full path, okay, where that readme file is existing, right. This is the various option. Then the pwd, print or list the present working directory with full path in which you are working presently. In which directory you are presently working, it will list, it will print all that, it will list or print that present working directory with its full path. rm, delete files, remove files. rm with the options and then the directory name or files. If we want to delete or remove a directory, the directory must be empty. Before its deletion, you must confirm, you must be sure that the directory must be empty. rmdir as a command to remove a directory. rmdir, we will mention the name of the directory. It will ask you this directory is not empty, even then you want to delete. If you say yes, only then it will delete. Then there is a touch command. Change the file timestamps to current time. If you make the file if it does not exist. Suppose you have created a file, the timestamps you want to change it to the current time. You want to show it that it is my latest file. It is not the earliest file. It is my latest file. You can change the file timestamps on that file. If the file is not